Thanks for joining us. I'm Charity Bailey. This is the After Session with licensed therapist Aurelia Anderson Thompson. The After Session is simply a space that we hold to come and have some of the questions that we have from the prior episode of Girl We Need to Talk answered by our therapist Aurelia. And episode 6. Briana Brown is one of my really close friends and hairstylist, and she lost her husband in a motorcycle accident just 3 years ago, but she's since found love. Her and her late husband also have a daughter, so she's been trying to journey on without her late husband and take care of their little girl. So, children add a completely different layer to things. How can someone make sure that they are properly healing from the pain while they continue on with their lives? And then in this case, and in the case of many, still raise healthy children?
Well, this is near and dear to my heart, just because of my own life story, losing my grandfather at 14, who was like a father to me, and just the work that I do at the hospice agency as a grief counselor. I'm a big proponent of grief counseling. Grief counseling, it's a subset of kind of regular counseling. It's a specialty. Usually, it's a brief therapy. It uses a brief model. And so, one thing as a grief counselor that we do is we really just kind of wrap our arms around our clients. It's still counseling. It's still therapy. We use the therapeutic models, but it's very slow. It's very gentle. And we really let the client, we always let the client lead, but this is something that is so unique and specific. And so we really let the client lead. And I also encourage support groups. I really encourage support groups. There are support groups for almost any type of, loss, but I really would encourage support groups. And in the case of children, how do we help the children deal with grief and to navigate this new normal without their person, right? Their caregiver. One thing I myself, I don't, specialize in children's grief, but one thing that I do know when I work alongside with my colleagues during like camps and things, they always tell us when we work with the adults, use real language. How it's all about story, right? I keep kind of coming back to this storytelling and narrative therapy, using real language and not fairy tale language. So when we talk about the deceased, we have a tendency to say passed away. And, a child will say, well, how can I go catch up with them? If they're passed away, how do I go catch up? How do I get to them? Or we say they went away. Well, their next question is, well, when are they coming back?
Yeah.
Right. And so it's very important that, of course, age appropriate, but we use real language. We use died, death, dying. Well, what does that mean? And then, yes, sometimes we have to work a little hard, but we do want to give them kind of like concrete to help them realize, because children, they'll wait up all night. Well, you said they went away, they're going to come back.
Yeah. Well, Briana did mention that she was very honest with her daughter about what happened. And they had previously had a conversation about heaven or that type of thing. So that's what she said to her. And so she was able to immediately connect that daddy wasn't coming home again. And that's got to be difficult. But last season, we focused so heavily on grief in the area of death, not expectations and all the other things, but simply death. And so that was a big thing that kept coming in from parents. It's like, how do I talk to them? How do I go about, not substituting, but filling in the gap for now this person that is no longer here? It's a lot for parents to try to figure out as they're grieving themselves and then trying to bring a child along in it as well.
You have to know the age of the child. And I don't mean just their numerical age. I mean their developmental age. So you have to understand like how they process, what they can handle, what they know. Because if your child is at a stage that they need a lot of physical help, this is going to rock their world. Because if daddy took me to school every day, but yet mom has to be at work, guess what? It would be in your best interest to take them to school in place of dad.
To keep some sense of normalcy, some sense of this crazy madhouse that they woke up in.
Your presence is very important, but it's that paying attention, it's mindfulness, it's awareness, knowing your children, knowing yourself. If grandma takes them to school, that might kind of, well, mom, you're not gonna, so where are you going, mom? Like, so are you not going to, okay, so dad is like, they're going to be confused. So, but that 6-year-old may be in a whole different space, and they may understand, they may be able to deal with it. Okay, Nana's going to take me to school today. Okay, mom, I'll see you when you get back from work. Right? It's about knowing your child. I don't want to give a rule when it comes to children. We can have some guidelines and we can have some suggestions, but it's all about knowing your child, knowing what they need when they need it. And yes, you will have to adjust. There's just no an easy way to say it. You will have to adjust, but it's about knowing what needs to be adjusted. Because if you have to work, you have to work. But let's be creative. The one thing about the times that we're living in, we've learned how to be creative about some things. We've had to. And so It's just a matter of knowing your child and what they need and how you can best serve them.
Now, this next one, this is a big one. Folks often talk about love after losing a partner, right? And Briana is very open about the fact that she has found love again, but that her late husband is very much a part of their household, their home. She has pictures of him up. They talk about him. Mm-hmm. And her new mate also has embraced that as well. That's got to be really difficult, but it's also important. So how do you talk to whoever your new mate may be about the importance of keeping the spirit of your late husband or late wife alive? And why is it important to even do that for the children anyway?
Well, if you remember in Wardens for Tasks of Mourning, task 4 is we find a way to honor the deceased while moving forward with our life. And so pictures being up on the wall and talking about him, they're participating in their mourning process. Eventually, let's just say in this scenario that this person that she's dating then becomes her husband. His pictures will be on the wall, right? She'll know if we need to move daddy's picture into your room or if we keep daddy's picture right there. They'll navigate that. But one thing I like about this is that they're being open and honest. It's all right here. It's all right here. And there's no secret. And so I would say for individuals is be honest. Be honest what you need. And if you don't know what you need, be honest with that. And for people who are dating someone who's, recently lost a spouse, you follow their lead. You follow their lead. Be sure of your expectations and the goals of the dating relationship, making sure you're on the same page. That way it's not too much pressure on the widow or widower.
Well, thank you for that. That's good information, especially again for people who recently lost a spouse and they trying to figure it out with the kids and protect their hearts and protect the kids' heart, and it's a lot. So
yeah, it is. And be kind to yourself. Just be kind to yourself. It's difficult. It's difficult. So just be gentle.
Yeah. And in general, be gentle with yourselves and be kind to each other. We will see you next time.
Bye.